Hello and welcome back to Make Your Money Make You Money and Making Your Bills Pay You. Now, in our first part, we discussed taking what it is that you have as a talent or skill. Once you've determined what your skill set is, you brainstormed, you determined you're a fashion designer, you're this person, you're an artist, you're this person, you're good at health, you like food, you like this, you like that. Great. How can you use that skill in today's climate to be useful to serve somebody else? We started off with healthy food planning. I discussed that you can create a meal plan because a lot of people nowadays are not trying to go out, especially with things being so open close. 1 minute it's a good idea to be out and about, the next minute it seems like it's not so safe to do so. People aren't trying to be out. Now you've seen places like Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, all of these places had an influx of changes occur due to, in the past 2 years, the influx of people being at home. But were they eating right and were they eating healthy? Maybe you know how to make food and prepare food in a healthy plan and manner. As we discussed last time, you can do a good health plan out meals, even create a website to create a membership to help people plan out their meals and determine what it is that they can do to better help themselves health wise. Figure out how to do calorie counters, how to cut carbs using alternatives to high carbohydrates, whatever it is that you do. But you use your skill, combine it with companies like Uber Eats, um, apply to see if Uber Eats will deliver your product direct to customer. And a lot of people, because I remember years ago, I was living with somebody and it was this woman. She used to have soul food that she would cook, and what she would do is she had people come to her back gate or front gate, and she had like a notice on the door. People were handing out flyers for with her phone number because she cooked soul food and she would serve it in takeout trays. In today's society, we can't be that insecure with our food, but if you're preparing food and this is what you do, I did culinary, so I know the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and the backs and forth of preparing, prepping and preparing food. That in this type of climate, which you would need to do food safety, so on and so forth, and do the whole mask mandates and all of that, how to keep your own germs out of food, so on and so forth. Because there was a time period, if we all remember, that before all this happened, people would freely breathe over your food when they were preparing it. Now you have to wear masks and gloves and all of this in order to prep food. If you're following food safety guidelines, the least amount of contact with the food as possible, you should be able to prep food and do food safety type containers to ship food out to at least the people in your community. And then as you go from community and people want to go farther out than that, you determine how to store food in freezer safe or some type of containment container that it's not going to go bad if it has to be shipped over 24 to 48 hours, because it would have to be shipped in a short period of time. And or if you're going through a company like a DoorDash or something, that somebody's going to pick it up and do least contact with your food. So yeah, that's another way that you can do food contact. And our next topic was going to be finances. Building legacy with what you have, your skills, what it is that you're desiring to develop. For me, it's making your money make you money. Basically taking everything that I am telling you and how to create a financial foundation to be able to better serve you so that you can then take your creative capabilities and turn them into a self-sustaining legacy building business by creating the proper financial foundation underneath it. But that's for what I want to do. Maybe you want to do financial services in some sort of way that helps in your creative avenue. And I'm going to name a couple different fields and a couple different ways that you could do it. Maybe you're like, how am I going to use financial service? I'm not really interested in financial service. I'm interested in fashion. True, but you can talk about financial services, which is something that people are desperately in need of, especially with the shaky financial economy that we're in, by talking about, okay, they want to start a beauty brand, a fashion business, a blog, or so on and so forth. What are the core fashion elements? Makeup, beauty, this, that, the other thing. Brainstorm with them how to create affiliate marketing with that. Brainstorm with them how to become an Amazon affiliate with that. Brainstorm with them about how to become blogger, how to use that to get travel endorsements, because I tell you that a ton of people that do fashion blogs, that when they do sponsorships, they travel all over this place in order to do sponsorships for certain types of, whether it be the beauty cons or what have you, and they're traveling out. You can collaborate to do travel with that. You can do all of these types of things. Then how would you use finance? Well, maybe you don't have a stable financial foundation. How are you creating this business so that you have least amount of debt? What's your savings look like? How are you saving money in order to purchase the products? Because when you do a fashion branded, let's say you want to do your own lipstick line. I believe gloss. It was gloss something. Gloss something. I got in touch with them and they made me affiliate for makeup to create a makeup line. I need to get back in touch with them actually. But each product per sales, you can create your own web page, you can create your own what have you with them, but in creating it costs you unit prices. Maybe you're purchasing 30 units at $199 or something like that. You need a financial foundation in order to be able to continue to pay out for that to come back to you. Finance. what you're saving. How are you saving up to be able to recoup the cost for each of your products? To build out the products, build out the brands. Maybe you want a full vegan line and you need more than what they're offering you, and you need to co-brand with another company. How to do that? How are you can use financial stewardship to show a person, hey, this is how you create a financial foundation to pay for your products. This is how you create a financial foundation to save for your products. This is how you create a financial foundation to, maybe you have people like to have office spaces. There are some people that want office spaces, some people don't. But in order to create a secure business, a lot of business LLCs, the only way that they're accepting it to do a business bank account is if you have a business location or a location that you're doing business out of, and you need to be able to help the person create that, understand what the financial capital would be, so that they would have a location that they can either have a team member on or themselves, that all of their product shipments are coming to that one location. And they're calculating up the budget. How are they saving? What is their lockbox in order to prepare and secure the finances for that? What contractual things do they need to create in order to secure contractually these things, get them in order, from the location to the collaborative efforts to collaborate their beauty brand with maybe another company, whether they're working with a hair company or working with a influencer or blogger to get their product out there. Maybe they're creating beauty boxes. What does that cost to create the beauty boxes? All of these things at one time, and coming to the determination of how that needs to be done. And that's just one level. And then once you've created your savings and you're starting to make money and you're becoming an influencer, how to use social media to become the influencer online and to make money using your social media platforms, from Instagram to YouTube to Facebook, to how you're making money in promotion and so on and so forth through these pages. But there's finance in every arena, whether you're talking makeup, whether you're talking food. Maybe you're a food person. If you're the food person, going back to the meal planning, maybe you need the financial foundation to secure a restaurant location or a actual location, because I've done this. I helped a friend of mine search out a location, understanding what the rent is, because it costs up to $30,000 for a restaurant to hold a location, an actual full building location for their restaurant. How do I know? When I was taking culinary, that is what the chef that was teaching us told us, that their allotted amount to pay for an actual location was $30,000. Maybe you don't have that, but if you have your safety sanitation license, you can find a location that's smaller or that you can work out of. And if you get the agreement contractually, all of those contractual agreements, you have to create your savings. You got to know what your budget is and what you're working up towards and for. All of these types of things. In the long run, how long will this be needed? Food service is something that in today's times looks like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We've had food service for the longest time, and it's not going anywhere in these climates. So calculating those things out and helping someone in your creative field financially to create a financial portfolio to base their business on, so they have a financial foundation to create, to have insurance on their business, You have a mortgage on their property that they can borrow against potentially if the business needs it. Maybe doing loans, and doing real estate as they purchase multiple properties. Most people don't know this, and this is going to put you up on this. Back when Michael Jackson was alive, being in music and entertainment, he owned over 24 different properties. Not only that, he invested in several different stocks that he used on the regular, especially technological stocks for the visual entertainment that he created. Know what you're investing your money in. Helping someone in the field that you're in to use the money that they have wisely to build from nothing into building a legacy, that is key. And you can do it from the place that you are creatively. That's how you can serve in today's climate, because a lot of people, they've come off their jobs, they don't know what to do, they don't have money. They need to look at their financial solvency and look at ways that they can financially secure themselves and build. That's why Making Your Money Make You Money and Make Your Bills Pay You, the course, is so important, because it shows you either from anything that you can start, or taking whatever that thing is that you can start, building it out unit by unit and developing it so that whatever your core goal financially is, you can start bringing in and developing the units and selling to the direct customers where you can sell, and so on and so forth. But having that financial foundation to undergird all of that is important. And you may not have a Make Your Money Make You Money, but you may have a beauty brand or a food brand or a hair brand or a wig brand or this brand or that. Whatever that thing is that you're passionate about, take the 9 key financial service elements and show how it can be used in your career to show others in your field how they can help others. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want that, I will be talking more about that on social media in the time to come, and I'll be bringing up more content of how in these fields and in these areas and arenas, how you can build from nothing into something financially, but through financial services, whatever that financial service is. Because you want to serve somebody to be able to find the right foundation so that their business does not disappear within a 5-year period and they become the famous statistic of, I started a business, within 5 years we crumbled. You want to start on a strong foundation, and the right financial literacy and understanding what that financial literacy is will do that. And people need that, whether you're starting out, whether you're a creative that knows that this is where your focus is and you want to develop, where you develop at. Or maybe you're already an industry known person, but you missed this part of the process and you're rebalancing to come back out again. Wherever you are, that's something that's necessary, and you can use that from wherever you are to build out wherever you're going. Create the path and run it. Which brings me to, what do you do next? After we've done all of these things, where do we go? Podcasting. Podcasting for me is something that I learned through trial and error. Somebody actually invited me onto their podcast. I did a co-hosting gig several years back, and when I started co-hosting podcasts, I did about 3 podcasts with this woman, and a few years later, when I was trying to restart branding again, I started my own podcast through SoundCloud, but it didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So after getting with the the business women that I've connected with in the past 5 to 7 years, I was having a discussion with one during a development Zoom meeting, and one of the people in the meeting said, "Why don't you use Anchor?" I was like, "Anchor, great." So I started using and podcasting through the Anchor app. I've created in the past, from November 2000 and November 2020 to now, I created 3 podcasts. One's on hold because I'm trying to figure out a launch date for that. But I created one called, you can still find it, Afrocentric in the Mix, The Steam to Live the Dream, and the new one that's coming soon. And through that, I learned how to develop my own podcast. With that being said, you can use podcasting. What is the first thing that everybody went to the second that March 2020 hit? People could not go out. People could not do business as they normally usually would. And what did you start seeing? A lot of industry and creative people start doing. They started their own podcasts. The podcast world became saturated with a bunch of new people because that was the only way that they could continue to promote what they had with the least amount of activity, because all you're doing is using your voice as an infomercial. You're talking about whatever topic that's on your mind, and then you're using your voice as an infomercial for whatever topic or whatever thing it is that you're trying to push, promote, or sell. That's what's happening. Now, how is this beneficial to you? Whatever you're creatively pushing or promoting, whether you're promoting food, nursing, what did I just say? Financial services, maybe you're an affiliate to a company. Whatever it is that you're pushing, you can use a podcast that you get your podcast in the right ranking and push it up through the podcasting ranking. My first podcast up till now has about over 400 views. The second podcast is going up to 200 views. The new podcast is wait and see because we are still in development mode. But I have 4 of them in the can ready to go, and we're going to be developing that soon. But it's the understanding that you can use it as a promotional tool. You can use Anchor and you can use Green Room. Green Room and Anchor have a co-branding deal. That Green Room, that just like Clubhouse, you can go in there and you can do live talks where you can literally live broadcast your topic for whatever it is that you're doing in your Green Room app. Take that whole conversation, drop it into Anchor, and save it as a potential episode, then go back, edit it, and repost it as your actual anchor podcast for later on. But you get live viewers on Green Room, which bridges the gap that you have people actually seeing and hearing what it is that you're talking about in the moment. It gets you the opportunity to have more people, more engagement, more views, more people listening and hearing what it is that you're talking about. So, in the live moment, it's like having the equivalent to being on TV and having a live studio audience. It's for podcasting. Then you can go from that phase. Maybe you have developed it and you like your podcasting. You can take and you can use, I believe it's called, I've done this before, Otter. Let's see. You can take an app like this, Otter. You can get up to 600 minutes of recording time, which means 600 minutes is 10 hours of audio that you can record. You record your show notes, create blogs, blog postings. That means if you can do 10 hours worth of shows, most of my shows are anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes per episode. So if I did this regularly, I would be able to do about 20 episodes per month with my 600 minutes. Then take those, convert those into a blog post, and create my own blog, which I do for my actual Steam to Live the Dream podcast site. This, if you're one that likes full color and imagery, I created this myself on Wix.com. Created my own templates, so on and so forth, to develop this website after seeing something that I liked the way that the template of that particular site went, and I developed this site. Now, what you could do, if you're not as technically savvy as me and don't want to go through all that, you can go to something like this. Once you've developed, let's say you go to Anchor and develop your whole website, your whole podcast, and you have 5 to 10 episodes, you can go to a pod page and they will literally turn your podcast into its own website. All you have to do, sign up for free, and you can literally develop the entire show on the website or on the whatchamacallit. Let's see. Let's see if I can see what it looks like. This is what you would do if you wanted to look at it. Let's see if I can see the preview. This, they show you the full demo of how you can do a full page website where you don't really even have to do much of anything at all. Nothing. You just put in your information, and unlike a lot, I'm going to go a little ahead of this. It will show you what your page will look like if it was your information. A lot of times when you go to web pages, like I'm going to literally show you mine. If you go to something like this is mine, my Wix website. If you go to Wix, these are my websites, so I developed these. So yeah, it has my information and my websites in it. But if you go to their create your own new site, they show you a template of what it would look like for a template they already have. But unlike that, you can go back to Pod Pages. Pod Pages will take your information from the information that you put in from your website. So if you took an Anchor pod page or Anchor podcast and dropped it into this, it will take the colors, the color scheme, all of that, and it will drop all the information from that podcast into this application, and you will see what it looks like with your information in there. And I like this because if I wanted to promote something, if I wanted to, let's say I did the new podcast and I put the first 4 episodes up and I wanted to just do that, it would create the pod website if you want something quick and easy. Now for me, I'm artistic, so I don't like the plain white background and simplicity of this. But the catch-22, if you use something like what I did, this, I have to update every section every time I do a new episode for my podcast to highlight what's new, what new information, what's the newest episodes, which episode we're on, unless you just go directly to my, any of the podcasts, direct link. And it auto-populates the newest episodes. But this website, I have to update everything as it occurs to keep it up to date. But with this podcast builder, it does it for you. It shows you your stats. It shows you what you're aligned with, which shows you're aligned with, which other stations that your podcast is added to. All of that. Whatever that is, it will show you in those places, and it does your statistics. Everything's all in one place. You ain't got to really worry about it, especially if you're first starting. If you have a Patreon and you have the Patreon connected to it, man, this is a great starter podcast website for beginners. It auto-populates your information for you. You're set. You're set. So, what did I express all of that to you for? What was my point? My point was, we are living in a society where we have to take our gifts and our talents seriously, and we have to put them in places that they're most needed. If you are a salesperson or you are good at e-commerce, which I am good at in certain degrees, that you can help someone else develop their own product line, services, create a community, so on and so forth. You're doing this in today's society, and I'm telling you this right now. In the society and the way that it's going, as much as we love Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these types of things, these things are owned by our government, which means at any point in time, they can say that they don't want us to use them anymore. So we need to take what we have and we need to develop an audience outside of it, because one day you don't want to create your entire influence on YouTube, your entire influence on Instagram, your entire influence on Twitter, your entire influence on whatever platform you're trying to create your influence on. Wake up. Just like a young woman on YouTube. See if I can find her. YouTube. This woman was hacked. Her entire YouTube was hacked and deleted off of. Why did I show that to you? Because we got to get smart out here on these social media streets. Everything I have just told you, everything you've watched, and every video, if you've watched every video up until this point, and this isn't your first video course class that you've taken of me, and this is the last of any of the series that I have done of courses, this is important knowledge. Because if you don't know this, you will sit there and you will create everything that I've just told you. You will do contractual agreements. You will develop everything that you've developed. You will create your own YouTube pages. You will create your own podcast series. You will do all of that. And now Anchor has the ability that you can convert your YouTube videos and create an audio and video podcast. Yes. Which means you can develop your YouTube channel while you are developing your Anchor channel, your podcast channel at the same time. You will sit there, you'll create your meal prep, whatever it is. You'll talk about your podcast on your podcast, your YouTube, all your social media networks. And one day you'll wake up to this. One day you will wake up and find yourself sitting in front of your computer screen with nothing. and not a dime to your name. And if I let this play, and I suggest that if you're watching me in this video, you go to the video and you actually watch it. I'm not going to play it for legal reasons. The entire video, and understand what can happen to you. One, you have to have a community around you of people that you can trust, because the reason she got hacked was because of someone that was in her inner circle that had access to all of her community passcodes, meaning this was an assistant that assisted her that got disgruntled after she fired them and deleted everything. Know your circle. Know you can trust the people that you have working for you. That's how she ended up losing all of her stuff. But the process, irregardless, that she had to take to recover all of her stats, statistics, her subscribers, all her videos, everything that she had, don't you ever, ever in a million years store all of your property on one of these social media platforms, because in a hot second it could be gone. You need to have something different. You need to have your own platform. You need to have a community that you can drop people into that is outside of all of these social media platforms. Why do I say this? Because when I was first thinking about doing this, not just 1 year ago, not just 2 years ago, I was thinking for the past several years I wanted to have my own community platform. I even on Wix tried to develop a couple different sites. One for my gold TCM when I first started that, one for the most current platform community that I'm in the process of working on. And I came to the understanding that it didn't have what I needed. You need to have a containment area. And when I looked into companies like Discipleship Media, because I'm a Christian based creative, so I wanted to have some place that politically could not siphon or cipher what it is that I'm creating. Meaning, if I want to say something that could be deemed as inappropriate by any of these algorithms, I won't be hindered, stopped, deterred, striked, or taken down by the platform itself because they decided to delete my account. Make sure that when you're creating, and diverting through a MailChimp, through one of those sites. There's a new community site that I may talk about. When I decide to talk about it, I'll do a separate video. It'll be another bonus. That they are actually have an integration that you can do your mailings and mail outs through the community. They're still in the process of development. So as they get better, I may speak about them because I've been looking into them for about six to 8 months because I was put on to them by one of my mentors. And having your stuff all go back to your own community is the best place and the best way you can operate. The reason that I'm not too fond of them right now is I don't think you can upload your own videos. Because once you're able to upload your own video content, you can do live content, but you can't upload videos to it. So I'm praying that they get up live, that you can do uploads, or I would have to do all of my uploads in the actual Wix site and upload the content directly to the server of Wix to hold my videos. But having these things set up for you, it's highly, highly necessary. Because as a creative, as we know, it takes blood, sweat, and tears to develop our brands. Even if we serve other people through meal services, through financial services, through uh, health services, through promotional services, whatever it is that we're doing, and then promoting on these platforms, we need to know that everything that we do, all of our creative content and our intellectual property, we still own it, we still have it, and we can still find it. God forbid anything happens to our social media networks. I've listened to multiple different Instagram influencers or other influencers for each of the other platforms, from Pinterest to any of the other ones, and they all say get something like I have see open it Trello. This is Trello. I'm not signed in. I gotta sign back in, log back into my Trello in order to uh, allow you to see my boards. But in order to go into them, it just means that it's it's a way to keep all of your things organized. I use Milanote. I use Evernote, and I use what else? Let's see, is this open right now? I do this as an organization process to organize whatever it is that I'm developing at the time as a outliner. I outline everything, create a format for it, develop it. But you want to have some place that everything, your entire process is outlined, and another place that you can keep your content, your videos, so on and so forth, that anything were to happen, you have duplicates. Trello, a lot of people will create an outline just like this, but they'll do day by day, section by section, month by month, year by year in their Trello, that they can go back over time and see. I don't know what my online login, and I don't feel like trying to figure it out right now. So what I'm going to do is YouTube. This is how Trello works. You can create and develop a full page of a series of videos, photos in sequential order, where you can type up whatever it is that you're working on and keep it in sequential order. When I took a podcast challenge when I was trying to determine whether I wanted to start my podcast at all, and the first thing that they told me, get you a Trello. So I got Trello. I don't really use it as often because I'm not always on my computer. But when I use it a lot for, I'm a creative, I do music, I do all of that, and I use that as a storage space. But I store certain things in different places so that if something goes wrong in one location, there's a backup somewhere else. You always need to have some place that backs up your stuff. That's key. That's important. This was like for the free 99 because I didn't even plan on putting this in this half of this course at all. But you need to have some place to back up your stuff or you may lose it. But the point is, you really want to be able to develop something that when you develop it in today's society, how you can use your creative skills. Maybe you are a designer. You design logos. You can create templates that can be developed into PDFs of full web pages of what the web page would look like in Canva. Because Canva does it, and I do believe Adobe Express allots you the ability to do web pages as well. You can do mock-up web pages for people, and you can do their graphics. You can do, let's say you do 4 or 5 graphics for $5, what have you. And then if they want you to do the web page, you set up a web page with the graphics within it for every page is $5 or what have you. Or you create the template for the page and send the template to them that they can then send to their team and be like, this is a template, you can do this. But do something that be part of a $5 membership, and you could end up developing your own sequence of page templates, and who knows, you could end up literally creating a series that could be later used as your own graphic website development system. And instead of using a Wix, you can develop your own type of Wix years down the line because you created enough original organic pages that you developed that then can be used to help other people develop their own websites. Online ain't really going nowhere no time soon. God forbid. Online's not going nowhere. Food service is not going anywhere. Nursing and online nursing programs are not going anywhere anytime soon. Financial services is not going anywhere anytime soon. And podcasting is not going anywhere anytime soon. Online promotion, if done strategically and correctly, is not going anywhere anytime soon. With that being said, where are you as a creative and how are you positioning yourself in these fields? Whether maybe you are a production, maybe you have the skills of a production set designer and you have the ability that you can draw out interior designs and you can use those same skills. Maybe that you can help somebody do set designs and do office spaces or what have you that they can do. What is it? You've seen these tiny houses? Maybe they can create a tiny studio or a tiny, and when I say studio, I mean not just a studio to work on music. I'm talking about this is a set that can be used as a tiny location within a location, whether you get a warehouse, purchase a warehouse. If you've ever seen studio lots, you can purchase a warehouse and then have a series of tiny house sets within the same lot. Come on now. Have you ever seen on movies, the movie Scream years ago before I became Christian, I used to watch horror movies. They showed you in part 3 of Scream, they were reshooting what happened in the first Scream, and they showed you the backlot appearance of what most TV film studio sets. If you've ever seen Tyler Perry, who bought his own studio lot and he had a series of buildings, maybe if you can go to a place and work with a company that can, thereby, you're a designer and this person's trying to create their own studio lot. They have a warehouse, and in today's society, with these malls shutting up and all of these places that they have huge buildings and warehouses and all of these things that have been shut down, you can purchase or rent out one of these large warehouses, and then get a series of small container and or container houses, tiny houses, office spaces that you know you're doing a set for a film, and collaborate with an interior design person, and each of these little tiny houses be redecorated for each of the sets that you need to use for whatever you're filming. You just created yourself your own studio lot inside of a warehouse. And you're able to shoot, which probably may be cheaper than purchasing a studio, development-wise. But if you have the skill set, you can give a person that is, maybe they're not thinking that way, you can tell them, okay, this is what you're going to do. We're going to help you design it. You get 4, 5, 10 of these pods and the person may have enough money that they can spend $100,000 and get 10 pods and then decorate each pod individually. Maybe they have, what do you call it, investment capital, or working with a company, collaborative company, that they were able to get the building, get the equipment, get whatever it was that they needed in order to build out their business. I remember several years ago there was a company that was reaching out to me that they were going to wanted to do work. It wasn't to that degree, but it was for office management. That it was the Mayo company or something like that. I might have to go back and look them up. That they were helping people get their equipment and stuff for whatever business that they were out in operation of. Find a company like that and they will recoup the cost. Get with an angel investor, what have you. This is where the financial foundation comes in. Having your proper financial foundation puts you in a position that you can reach out to these companies, and if they see that you're in good standing, they will stand with you to develop these types of things for you. It's just that knowing and developing and understanding what it is that you want to do. So the biggest question now is, what are you going to do with the skill set you have to help somebody else? I know I'm currently in the process of determining how I can use these exact same things that I'm teaching you to help others. Because I know I've been graced to be able to create my podcast. I have been graced to be able to create YouTube content. I've been graced to be able to create graphics and designs and pins and Pinterest and reels and this and that and the other thing. But at this particular point in time, I'm at a point where I feel like I'm not doing enough. And everything I've told you that you can do, I can be doing too. My point is, there are multiple things that I can put my hands to. It's understanding in this season which one that gets me spiritually, emotionally, gutturally in a place where I enjoy it. When I listen to a master class when I was trying to find new inspiration, and the woman said, Elaine Weltworth said, make sure your yes is a HE double hockey sticks yes. And that's where I'm at in this season. There are a lot of things that I can be doing that I can use my skills in, but I need to know where I need to put my hands to right now that will help me set up the streams of income that will help me from years to come. And finding a way to do it in a way that it's not, one, bogging me down, that I'm not able to create in the areas that I enjoy creating in. Because the one thing that sickens me is when I devote my attention to a project and either the person or people that I devote my attention to don't take into account the time and the energy that it took for me to do it for them, and either do nothing with it, or the fact that I could have been taking that time and working on my music writing or my YouTube videos or my podcast topics, any of those types of things. Know where your energy can most be used, because being a creative is tiring enough as it is. Take your skills, apply them to areas that are in desperate need of service in these time frames, build your financial foundation, and grow. Because ain't nobody got time to be wasting time in the streets. This is Taj McCameron. Make your money make you money. And make your bills pay you. Until our next installment, love, faith, peace, and blessings. Bye-bye.